I want to take a minute and just welcome you all to the 4 benefits of bookkeeping. Like I was saying, I just can't wait to dive into this with you today. I want to give you a little timeline of what we're going to do here. So I'm going to go through the 4 benefits of bookkeeping. Then I'm going to hop on camera and we can do some questions and maybe a little deeper discussion on bookkeeping, what it means for you or how to get started. I'll also be sharing something exciting with you at the end of this. So I will hopefully you stick around. You can always catch the replay as well. If you're registered, you'll get that link via email. Real quick, if we haven't met yet, I am Tiffany. I'm Tiffany Bastian. I'm the owner of Bastian Accounting, where my team and I work exclusively with photographers. We help them with their photography business by, really taking it to the next level through accurate bookkeeping and tax planning. And just real quick, you see this, I have a master's degree in accounting and you see this, what's an EA? And I just wanted to just kind of give you that information. So a lot of people are not familiar with what an IRS enrolled agent is, hence EA. I do see the EA as an executive assistant now, so that is not what I am. So not to be confused, but basically, if you look at a CPA takes a 4-part exam and, this covers so much information regarding public accounting essentially. And only one part of one of the exams really touches on tax. So if a CPA doesn't then get certified and specialize in tax, then they're not necessarily a tax professional, right? That's a choice that they can make. It's kind of like an attorney. It's very general. Most CPAs, they can become controllers of companies or, CFOs, but an IRS enrolled agent is a 3-part exam through the IRS. And that is one is personal tax, one is business tax, and one is ethics. I have to take 73 hours of continuing education. And so I specialize in tax. That allows me to serve my clients, my audience, you, everyone even deeper in the tax area. So CPAs can only practice within the state that they have been registered in, whereas an IRS enrolled agent can help you and no matter what state you're in. So I just want to get a little information out there. It's something I think, again, like I said, is very unknown. People don't really get what that is. So I always love to share that, but that is where I'm at. And tax really is my passion because I feel like you can't play the game if you don't know the rules, right? So with that said, are you guys ready to dive in? So look, I know there's so much to running a business. As entrepreneurs, we have all these things. We initially wear all the hats, right? There's sales, there's service, there's marketing, there's building a team if you need one. There's, delivering your services, but often overlooked over here in the corner, you can see it, is bookkeeping. How many of you, tell me, how many of you are like, yep, that's the last thing or maybe you haven't even implemented that yet. That really gets swept under the rug until tax time or until a tax letter comes in the mail or something alarming happens, right? And I know bookkeeping is not sexy. And I know it is not probably fun for most creative-minded individuals. However, it is the foundation from which you can understand your business. Bookkeeping is often an afterthought, but bookkeeping is essential to managing your business. Tell me in the chat where you are right now with your bookkeeping. Does it exist? Is it pristine? Are you not sure where to start? Is it a hot mess? Give me all the details. A love-hate relationship. Getting ready to set up QB. Oh, yes, Tanya. Shoebox hot mess. Yes, Catherine. Well, that shoebox will come in handy in a few slides when we're talking about tax time. So the first benefit of bookkeeping is you can stay organized, right? I always like to tell onboarding clients that we are like the Marie Kondo of bookkeeping. This is the part of your business. This gets everything organized. Okay. So I know staying organized is super simple, but being organized is crucial to success. Being organized ensures you have access to financial information about your business anytime you need it. Several interested parties may need your financial information at some point in time, like the IRS, employees, if you have employees, lenders, if you're looking to take out a loan or, get a credit card, you might need to provide that stuff. Most of all, though, yourself. So how can you make critical business decisions without organized, accurate bookkeeping? If you can't provide the requested information to the IRS or the state, this could result in penalties, fees, and not tracking or paying sales tax can actually result in your business getting shut down. They can shut your business down, right? Ignorance is not bliss when it comes to this stuff, right? I think we think it is, but it's not. And then it gets to be overwhelming when you start to unpack it, sort of like Pandora's box. But I'm going to tell you an excellent example here. In 2020, everything happened in 2020, we had the PPP loans. And so many clients were ready because we had their bookkeeping caught up to date. We were able to send them the information that they needed so that they could go to the bank and apply for these PPP loans and get them. Lucky for our clients, we have that information for them because we take care of all that. We saw a massive uptick in photographers reaching out who needed help like right now because they didn't even know what a financial report was, or they were like, I don't know how to create a P&L. Like, how do I do all this stuff? Because that was the requirement to get these loans. And it was the requirement months later, even up to a year later, to create certain reporting so that you could get it forgiven, right? So like there's a huge example of when all of a sudden that bookkeeping that you'd been putting off became the thing, oh my God, I need that right now. I'm telling you, there is peace of mind knowing your bookkeeping is up to date. It's accurate at any given time, right? Just imagine, can you just close your eyes and imagine like how that would feel to know that right now I could pull a P&L, it's accurate, it's reconciled, I know what's going on, it tells me what I need to know. Doesn't that just feel like such a breath of fresh air? The second benefit is financial confidence. When your income and expenses are correctly tracked, you have a much clearer story of where your money is coming in from, where it's going, which will help you budget better to grow and sustain your business. I hear many photographers trying to sort out their cost of doing business as a detail that they need in order to ensure they're pricing themselves correctly. Bookkeeping is literally the key to figuring out that cost of doing business so that you can then figure out your markup and what you're going to charge for your time. All of these, you can see this all stems from the foundation of having bookkeeping. And like I just said, this is going to help you budget better to sustain or grow your photography business. I want to acknowledge that it's not always about growing. I think sustaining is often overlooked. But you don't want to be losing, right? So how do you sustain that? Well, you need to know your numbers to sustain that. Do I need to do more or less this month to keep that going? Where's my money coming? All of that is part of that. And, I think sustainability, like I said, is totally underrated. You can't grow if you can't sustain. Melissa says, definitely work in progress. I'm small beans right now, so it's pretty easy right now, which makes it easy to slack off, but I intend to grow and need a more streamlined process as I go. Awesome. I'm so excited to tell you what's coming. Yeah, totally. Tanya, I think sustainability is something that we just, as that hustle mentality is like grow, but you can't grow if you can't maintain and sustain where you're at, right? Bookkeeping creates financial reports such as a profit and loss, but that's also known as an income statement. Some call it a P&L, and I just want to be clear, all of those are the same report. The point is that you can see your income minus your expenses, which will show if you are profiting or not. And this helps you ensure you're appropriately structured to save on taxes for your income level. There is a point in income when it makes sense to form an LLC or elect S corporation status. It's super beneficial. It could save you a lot of money on taxes depending on where you are. But again, if you don't know where you are, then you don't know that this is even something that would help you, right? In addition, the profit on your bookkeeping, so that income minus expenses, your profit, or it could be a loss, is literally what carries over to your personal tax return. There is no such thing as a business tax return for anyone who is an LLC, a DBA, a sole proprietor, all of that. You actually, your whatever kind of business you are, unless you are a C corporation, which no one, I don't believe any photographer needs to be. C corporations are like big corporations like Target, Starbucks, etc. Anybody else structured any other way, it's called a flow-through entity, and it flows through. So your bookkeeping profit or loss flows through to your personal return, where then all the rest of the calculations are done. That means you're paying taxes on that net income, but that profit comes over and that's what you pay taxes on. And there are several taxes you're paying on that. So ultimately, knowing that number is going to help you. Knowing your net profit or loss can help you calculate and pay your quarterly estimated income tax payments, which I want to point out are not optional. And I get that all the time. It's not optional. If you are self-employed, essentially, if you are not a W-2 employee for someone else, you are self-employed, and taxes are a pay-as-you-go system. So when you work for somebody else, they gave you a pay stub every paycheck that showed you your part of your taxes being taken out of your paycheck. When you're self-employed, that's not happening. So you are required to calculate and figure out your estimated income tax payments. And that's going to be in most states. There are a couple states that don't have income tax, but most states and for the IRS. And knowing, again, this all goes back. When you have your bookkeeping, when everything is set up properly, when it's reconciled to your accounts, when you know that everything on the books is accurate, that you haven't missed anything, everything has been accounted for, there's nothing there that shouldn't be there, and everything that's there should be there, now you have a number to kind of know what you're looking at for estimated tax payments. So many photographers don't realize this. And then if they look at their tax return, they look down by the signature line, you're going to see, and a lot of tax professionals don't tell you when they say how much you owe on that line down there on your tax return. Form 1040, I always challenge people to go check that out. And that's from not making estimated tax payments. The third benefit of bookkeeping is sales tax compliance. When I say sales tax, how many of you want to literally run or just like leave this meeting? You're like, don't even talk about it. But sales tax is a huge pain point for most small businesses in general. And we find at Bastion Accounting that that's literally where most of our onboarding new clients are struggling. Either they didn't know about the sales tax in their state, or they did know about it, but maybe they never registered, they never collected it from people, they've never paid it, or maybe they were registered, but they never collected and paid. Maybe they've collected it, but they never registered and paid. We've seen all the scenarios. Sales tax differs in every state, and almost every photographer has a liability of some type of sales tax in their state, whether it's on services, physical goods. So you need to be familiar with the state sales tax laws for you in your state based on your photography business and what services and products you provide your clients. In addition, you need to track all of the taxable and non-taxable sales properly. And if you travel, like if you go to other states, now you have a whole new anomaly where you need to be tracking the sales for that state, or if people are coming from other states, there's all of this information. But again, we're going to go back. The foundation is the bookkeeping where all this is being tracked. So you can easily pull a report that says, oh, well, when I'm looking at Q1, January through March 2022, I can see my taxable and non-taxable sales are these numbers, and that tells me how much sales tax is calculated here. And again, I'm referencing QuickBooks Online because that's what we use for all of our clients at Bastion Accounting, and that's what I teach in all of my courses. And that just makes it so much easier when you can sort of start to automate bookkeeping with all your other systems. And there are some states where, based on, and I'm not going too deeply into all of this because I teach this in a lot of other areas, but sales tax, some states are origin-based and some are destination-based. The destination-based states means that you have to actually charge sales tax rate based on the client's address. So that means you have to the client's address. So now you can start to see where having your sales with detail of client address and taxable and non-taxable, like having an accounting system is going to help you with that. Bookkeeping is like, this is creating all that information, because if you got audited, you'd have to pull that information. Where are you going to get that all from? How many days is it going to take you to pull that out of maybe your HoneyBook or CR? Like start to see like the project that could happen, right? And if you're audited, you'll have all your backup. If your bookkeeping is accurate and together, like they ask for something, it's so much easier to give them exactly what they're asking for than to be a hot mess and provide them with partial or none of the information. Partial information might lead them to other information they want to open up and audit. It just can be such a Pandora's box again. But bookkeeping can swoop in to save the day and make it easy to file and pay and be compliant with all of those things. And you can walk forward knowing I have accounted for that. I have the proof for that. I've got the backup to that. It's all connected. I don't have to worry. The fourth benefit of bookkeeping is being able to streamline tax time. How many of you love tax season? Tell me. How many? I want to know who in here loves tax season. How many of you are frantic at tax time trying to tally up all your income and expenses and go to this account and that account and find receipts or highlight statements or download data and try to go through it all? Gathering receipts and bank statements. Like if you're doing that in January or February for taxes for the prior year, that means that you didn't know where your business was the entire prior year. Tell me, how beneficial is it to find out how your business is doing in February of the next year? Like what strategy did you have to save money on taxes? What strategy did you have to grow or sustain your business? The holidays pick up, people get busy, and then all of a sudden the holidays are over and you are land on your face in the second week of January and it's now tax season. When you have accurate bookkeeping, you can simply print financial statements and hand them over to your tax preparer. Or one step better, in the case of QuickBooks Online, which I spoke about before, which I teach in my courses, you can export your information. You could do your own taxes. So you'd be able to send that information over to TurboTax and do your own taxes. This is something I go over in my course content. This is something that you can do. This is an actual thing. You could have think about this, organized and easy. The process is set up in your books. You're going to keep your books updated, and then you're going to export your books at tax time and have everything ready to file, and like, voila, super stress-free tax filing. And you're like confident along the way, you're calculating your estimated tax payments. But again, right, all of this goes back to having bookkeeping, having that system set up for yourself so that you're tracking all the details that you need. So tell me, how are you feeling about bookkeeping now? Like, what is your plan? Like, where are you at and where are you trying to go? Did you realize, did you think about any of these benefits about bookkeeping? Is there something in here that you're like, oh, I never thought about that? And I think a big one is sales tax. I think a lot of people don't realize, oh my gosh, yeah, bookkeeping, if I was doing that correctly, all my sales tax information would be at my fingertips. And if I'm audited, I have all the information to back that up. I'm about to share something with you guys. So how do you get started? How do you start to get your arms around everything for this year so that you can implement your bookkeeping, get yourself organized before tax time? And I got you. I want to be transparent with you guys. If we're meeting for the first time here in chat, I know a lot of you are inside my Facebook group. I have been struggling when it comes to getting you exactly the training you need with each of my courses. I've had some photographers buy one course or buy other photographers buy another course. While each course is amazing and good on its own, I knew it wasn't complete because in reality, you need all the content. It builds off each other so that you can build out your financial picture so that you can really become that legit photographer that you can be. When I create each program, I built each program to support the other. And if you're not familiar, I have a course called Master Your Bookkeeping. I have a course called Total Tax Transformation, which is going to be getting a rename soon, which essentially is your business and financial foundations. It's everything you need to know about taxes, what you need to understand about the different taxes. We talk about business structure, how to save money. We do touch on bookkeeping. We talk about it's the foundation, right? But I built all of this to support these courses to support each other. And I often know when a student is struggling on my programs, it's because they need the information from the other program. I also realized that putting them in one course would be super overwhelming, costly, crazy, and it's been very hard for me to support each course in its own silo. So I've decided to go a step further and solve this problem once and for all by offering something I've never offered before. I will be launching the Legit Photographer Collective. Inside this program, I will give you access to all of my course content. So yes, every single course I've created will be yours. You will have access to it alongside a roadmap of how to work through the content. We're going to have a Facebook community where I'm going to be in there answering questions and helping you, as well as weekly face-to-face Zoom calls so I can support you through the content, in addition to monthly special trainings on other topics that round out all of the stuff in the content. And these trainings will be trainings that I'm going to teach. And I already have some really fantastic guest speakers lined up that are going to also teach inside of this program. I decided to equip you with all of this for one low monthly fee. Ultimately, someday I want you to go to a place where you're like, I don't have to do my own bookkeeping. I outsource that to Bastion Accounting. But at the same time, like I understand I want my clients, even my monthly clients, to understand why they're doing something. What does this mean? What's deductible? What's not? Why is it not deductible? How can it be deductible? How do I have to handle it? Like these are all the things I'm going to teach you in here. This also means I will not be selling my courses separately after November 1st. The Legit Photographer Collective will be the only way to access them because you need all the pieces to finish the puzzle. So we're talking about bookkeeping today because it is the crucial element. And in my course, Master Your Bookkeeping, I walk you through completely how to set up your QuickBooks online account as a photographer, how to maintain it, how to integrate it with all of your different CRMs. And there is another course that teaches the foundations of everything you need to understand for when you're doing your bookkeeping, and they sort of need to go back and forth.